The Bass Pro Tour had stage 1 on Lake Conroe this past weekend. Who's in, who's out? That's what we're going to talk about right now. If you're new to the channel, my name is Steve Chapman. I host this channel. And hopefully you'll find this content interesting and become part of the team and family and hitting that subscribe button. So if you like it, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe, and welcome to the family. Now, the BPT started their first tournament, stage 1, on Lake Conroe. Everyone's going to have their opinions on what they thought. I thought it was magnificent. I thought it was one of the best starts to a season that we've ever had. Now, there's going to be people that say they can't catch them without forward-facing sonar. I understand that. Do they catch more with forward-facing sonar over when they're not using it? Yes, of course. I thought there were 3 or 4 storylines that really lifted the first tournament for the BPT. It starts off with who's going to use forward-facing sonar and when. That was a big thing. Of course, they caught more when they were using it. But we found that there were a lot of anglers that didn't use it that still did well and still caught fish. They still had absolutely mind-boggling numbers of fish caught with it and without it. So that had a lot of drama, or added drama to the strategy behind it. I thought there was also drama on who would make the money cut and then who would make the knockout round. And then the last storyline I thought was I really enjoyed that the winner of the qualifying round automatically got their bid to the championship round. And that drama and those dramas really lifted and gave an overall really positive and enjoyable tournament start for the BPT. And we saw some different names. Of course, we saw Jacob Wheeler and Justin Lucas. They're old pros staying up there. But we saw the new anglers, some new rookies that did very well, that were emotional with the win and showed how much it meant to them. And it just was, to be honest, it was fantastic in my opinion. However, when there's good news, there's always a little bit of bad news. And we're going to do the who's in and who's out. Now, in 2025, they were cut down to 66 anglers. In 2026, they're cutting them down to 50 or 51 anglers in the BPT. And they'll take 5 anglers from the invitational. So technically, there's only 45 or 46 spots. So there'll be 20 anglers that are currently fishing on this list right here that are going to be eliminated. Now, they'll probably go fish the invitationals or whatever it is. Now, I have to be honest. Last year, I was wrong on a couple numbers. And when I went back in and looked at my numbers from this year, I found some discrepancies that I don't know how they happened. So I went back in and did as much as possible to make sure it was right. Now, there's some rookies that are on this list, or some people that have only had 1 or 2 years, and they need to have good years this year. If they're only going to take 44 or 45 or 46 anglers, 20 anglers will be cut. So having 1 or 2 bad tournaments is not good for you. But there's a few guys that have been in the BPT for years that really need to have a good year to re-qualify for 2026. Now, let me preface. You're allowed to take 2 of your worst years off on this list. I have not taken any year off because just for example, this year, just Jacob Wheeler has 76 points going in because he came in 4th or 5th. But his worst year after that is a 331.5 back in 2020. So if he doesn't score another point for the rest of the year, you take off 2025 and then 2020. Since we don't know how the rest of the year is going, we can't use 2025 as a benchmark. So no years have been taking off on this list. So that has a big influence when it comes down to the end. But who are those 20 anglers who really need to improve on their start from this year or keep pushing and trying to do their best to qualify for 2026? I haven't put the rookies in here, but quite honestly, if the rookies keep fishing the way they are after the first stage 1, they're in really good shape. But these anglers are on the bottom 20. Anglers like Keith Carson, Nick Hatfield, Ron Nelson, David Walker, Gary Klein, Shin Fukai, Dean Rojas, Britt Myers, Marty Robinson, Martin Villa, Dave Lefebvre, Fred Rubanis, Keith Pouchet, Skeet Reese, Bradley Roy, Brent Chapman, Josh Bertrand, Terry Scroggins, James Elam, and Dylan Hayes. And those are some of there's some big names in there. Now, having a good start is very important. And even though I didn't say his name, anglers like David Dudley, who only scored 18 points for this past tournament, not finishing well doesn't help you. So David and Dylan and Keith and Shin and David Walker and Nick Hatfield and Keith Carson, getting 20 points or 24 points and under isn't going to help you. And it's tough to say that because there's a lot, that list of anglers was quite amazing, to be honest. But these guys still have the rest of the year to improve, and hopefully they do. But as it goes, it's just going to that's going to be another storyline to this year on the BPT. Any anglers on that list that you want to see make it, comment below and tell me what you think. Thanks for hitting that like and subscribe button. Thanks for all the new subscribers and all the new members and everyone who's interactive on the channel. I love reading your comments. I love learning from you, and I'm humbled by it. So if you want to leave me a comment, I'm going to reply to it, and I really do appreciate it. Remember, take your kid fishing, tight lines, cheers, and get your fish on.